Hey folks, this may be a little unorthodox, but I thought it'd be a good way to address a question that came up last night after class. And the question was, is this journalism? Is what we're doing for the Elections Project journalism? And I wanted to just really address that very directly. What I'm doing is setting up a publishing platform for you guys to cover the elections in a way that maybe you haven't done before. And I want to make sure that you're in the right mindset for what we're doing and for how to do it properly. And if I didn't do that, I want to make sure that I've done it prior to you starting. Just because we're covering this in a blog format, just because we're covering it maybe in a somewhat of an unorthodox way, it shouldn't take away from the fact that what you're doing is, at its absolute core, at its essence, a journalistic venture. There's a tendency with talking about blogs that because there's a commentary aspect to them to treat them as if they're not journalism, which I think is really short-sighted and something that I want you all to kind of try to break through. If you think about the New York Times and what makes the New York Times a great paper, it's not that the New York Times always gets the facts first, right? I mean, you can get the same facts in the New York Times that you get in the AP, that you get in pretty much any other newspaper in the country, right? There's the occasional scoop, certainly, but you don't read the New York Times every day for the scoops. What you read the New York Times every day for, I hope, is the context they offer, the richness of commentary and analysis that really bring a dimension to the news, right? And that's what I'm asking you guys to try to do. Everybody's going to have poll results, and I'd like you guys to have them as well, but address them from a perspective of Emory students. What do they mean? And that's not an unobjective thing. That is a perspective thing, which I think is something that journalists tend to confuse very often. It's not unobjective to talk about these things in a context that you can back up and that you can support. And I'd really like for you to try to do that. This is not an exercise in whimsy or finding humorous stories, although there may be some very humorous stories. I mean, this is Election Day. This is the pivotal day in our democracy every 2 years. And I think that we need to address that with the proper gravitas. Again, it's not to say there can't be some fun stories, but I want to make sure that you guys understand that what you're covering is extremely important, and the way that you're covering it is very new and is still evolving. And I understand that you may have some concerns and some doubts and some fears, but try to work through them and really try to embrace this notion of being able to, publish as you find interesting stories, publish as you find interesting people, build context around events as they're going on. And really embrace this as an opportunity to try to do reporting in a different way. I'm more than happy to talk to you about any story ideas or any organizational ideas or anything at all that you have, because I really want to help you guys make this a success. It is different, and it is something that we certainly haven't done before in class, something that a lot of people haven't done even professionally, but I think it's important to try. But it is absolutely a journalistic endeavor, and I don't want there to be any question about that. Just because you may end up writing from a particular perspective shouldn't change the fact that what you're writing is at its core trying to get at the truth of what's going on and the facts and the context and the analysis. And you guys have perspectives that are extremely valid, and you can help bring those perspectives to the facts that everybody else is going to have from your own world and for your own audience. I mean, remember who you're writing for. You're writing for yourselves and people who are interested in your perspective on the news. Another thing to bear in mind is that you guys are going to be doing something very unique in that you are going to have, you're going to be the only news entity that is covering the election as it affects Emory students in real time. So I want you to focus on the student population. What are their reactions to what's going on? What are their interests? What are their fears? What are their concerns? What did they vote or not vote based on? There are so many opportunities for stories, but you guys can cover it in real time in a way that no other news entity is going to have, right? The Wheel can cover it, but they're going to cover it later. And outside of this specific body, the J311 class, no one else is really focusing on this audience. And it's a huge audience, and it's an audience that is very politically interested. So I think that you guys can really be a catalyst for something. You can really be a very powerful force to cover exactly what's going on as it's happening, which is a really unique opportunity. So again, do some reading of the blogs that I posted to J311 today. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll be checking email all weekend. I will be on IM as much as possible. But I did want to kind of address that question very directly and very aggressively, because I don't want there to be any doubt that this is not an exercise in kind of goofing around with the news. This is an exercise in really trying to cover something in a way that treats the 24-hour news cycle like a 24-hour news cycle. So if you have questions, again, contact me. I hope this isn't too odd, but I thought it would be easier than trying to write this out and hope that you guys read it. So good luck, and again, I will be in contact with you over the weekend. Thanks.